Okay, we're on page 88 in the Stone Chumashim, Revi, that's Perek, Yutes, Pasuk Chavalov. Okay, Malachim are getting throwing Lot out of the city. They say, go to the mountain. He says, no, I can't run to the mountain. They're going to die. It's not going to happen. Let me stay in the city of Mitzar. Mitzar means young. It's 51 years old instead of 52. Less sins than the city of Zdaim, right? And let me go there and I'll be saved. So, Vayemer Elav. Vayemer Elav. So, the Malach said to him like this. Again, it's the singular Malach because it's the one Malach that's doing this. Hinei nasasi panacha, I gave you consideration. Gam ledavar hazeh, even to this thing. The vilti havchi asiyira shedibart, not to turn over the city of Mitzvah. Really, I should turn it over. I'm not. So I'm giving you, I'm listening to you. But he said to him like this, Maher himole chama, hurry up and run away there. I'm not able to do anything in Zdaim. Ad Barach Hashama until you come there. And therefore, this is parenthetical, he says, therefore, he called the name of the city of Tzohar. Okay, that's out of sequence, but meaning like this, I can't wait, I can't do anything until you arrive safely in Zayad. Nevertheless, as we'll soon see, already at dawn, even before light came to the city of Tzayad, Hashem made rain and, Hashem made it the beginning of the destruction. But the Malach says, hurry up, now you can't take anything and you just have to get out of here. Hashem Eshatz al haaretz, the sun rose upon the earth, the light bought Tzayad. And light came to the city of Tzayad, meaning he was saved. Page 88. Hashem himtir al zadaim v'alameida. What does it mean? V'Hashem. It doesn't say Hashem. V'Hashem. So the Mefarshim explained that when it says the word V'Hashem, it means Hashem in his Bezdin. In other words, so to speak, Hashem in the court ruled that they have to be destroyed, and therefore V'Hashem himtir means Hashem and all the people from his day. Now, here it says, ultimately, the Medrash has over here when it says the filthy hafchi asayir, seemingly it says I cannot turn over the city. The truth is the city were killed. Okay, but this is what the Medrash says: the city of Tzayad was not destroyed, but everybody in the city died. And one of the reasons why we'll sue us, the next day light right away moved out of Tzayad. Well, why didn't he stay in Tzayad? Because there were corpses all over the place. So it says Hashem didn't destroy the city, but Hashem made every person in the city die. And therefore,
Is that why they thought every man on earth?
Yeah, we'll get there in a minute. They thought everybody was the... What's interesting, and the question is, what did he think? Avram died? So obviously, okay, when we get there, we'll talk about it.
It's the daughters,
No, I understand, but what didn't the daughters think that Avram was still alive? I mean, why not? But Hashem himtir al zdaim v'alameida. So Rashi says, it doesn't say, then afterwards it says, Gofris v'esh, sulfur and fire, meis Hashem min ha-shamayim, from Hashem. So Mefarshim and Rashi says like this. First, Hashem made it rain. Remember by the Mabul we learned, Hashem started the flood with a little bit of rain. And then it became more and more and more and more until the flood. Why? Because Hashem wanted the people to do tshuva. Okay? Now, another thing Rashi says from the Medrash, when did Hashem make the destruction of Zdaim? So he says like this, there are certain people that worship day, certain people worship night. So if it happened during the day, the people that worship the day said, oh, you see, the day God did it. If Hashem did it at night, they would say the night God did it. So when did Hashem do it? At the crack of dawn, which is neither light, day or night. That nobody can say that this is the moon. The Mephoshim say some of the Stamos worship the sun, some worship the moon. So Hashem made it when there's no sun, there's no moon. That's why it says as dawn broke, meaning Hashem punished when there was no day and no night. Okay, now we made Gofris for Eish. What's Gofris for Eish? Okay, Rashi. Okay, so here it says like this. Hashem in his Bezdin. Okay, Ramban says that, what does it mean? Vahashem. So one opinion says Hashem and this Malach Gavriel. Which angel was sent to destroy his dome? The Malach Gavriel. So in Hebrew means and. So what is it, the Vav including? So one opinion says, Rashi doesn't say. The Rambam brings out one opinion says adding Gavriel and Hashem. Or Hashem and Gavriel. Rashi only brings the second interpretation, which says that it was Hashem and his Bezdin. That was the one that did it. Okay, then it says like this. The name of Hashem, even though L'cha'era, like we learned before, it's the name of Rachamim, of mercy, nevertheless, like it says in the Medrash, woe are the wicked people, they transform Hashem's attribute of mercy to destruction. And that's why it says, Vahashem himtir, that what they accomplished was that even the attribute of mercy destroyed the city of Zidane. So now the pasuk says, now where did this Gofris Va'esh come from? Min Hashem, min Hashemayim. So the question is, what is Me'ez Hashem? Automatically means from God, so it's understood means the heavens. So what does it mean, min Hashemayim? What's the redundancy that it means Hashem min Hashemayim? So he says like this. Some people might say, where does sulfur and fire come from? From volcanoes. So somebody might think, if the pasuk didn't say it came from God, from the heaven, what would they think? God made a volcano, and the volcano destroyed the city of Zidane. Like we know, I mean, the volcanoes can destroy a large city. So Hashem says, no, it wasn't a volcano. It rained from heaven, fire and sulfur, and that's what destroyed the whole thing. Okay, so this is all what Hashem did.
If it was a volcano, it'd still be Hashem doing it.
Yeah, but it's like people want to say Kriyas Yamsuf was because it was a low tide. So first of all, the fact that God brought the Jews there exactly at the time it was low tide is also a miracle. But obviously it's not true. Meaning, the pasuk is saying, and this is what the Mephoshim explained, that Hashem is teaching us in the Torah that who destroyed Zidane? Not a natural volcano, but actually Hashem himself. Okay, it turned over, meaning it destroyed the complete city. Veis kol hakikar, in the entire plain. Veis kol yeshvei adam, everybody sitting in the mountains. V'tzemach ha'adam, and the vegetation of the earth. Meaning, even not only the Zidane people, everything that was in the city was destroyed. The sin of the people from Zidane was they thought, okay, we're fertile land. Why didn't Zidane, like we learned the other day, why didn't Zidane let people in? Because they had a good country, fertile land and everything good. They said, we don't want strangers to come and, take away our jobs and take away everything. They didn't want it. So therefore, they were saying everything because they said this, their exclusive use. Okay. Well, even the plants were destroyed. Right? Even the plants were destroyed. And in fact, he brings down the Medrash, says if somebody today would go to Zidane and collect rain and water it, it's not going to grow anyway. Hashem destroyed it that it can't grow no matter what you do to it. You never become vegetation growth there. Okay, so now the pasuk says, page 88, V'tavet ishte mi'achrov, Light's wife turned around, and there's a different interpretation of what it means. We'll see in a second. V'atihi netziv melech, she became a column of salt. We'll soon see. Now, according to Rashi, who does mean me'acharov, from behind him? So Rashi says, Light walked in the back. His wife and 2 daughters walked in front. He was guarding to make sure nobody goes back. So one opinion is Light's wife turned around to look behind Light to see what's going on. Some of Mepharshim say, why did she turn around, Taka? She wanted to see if her married daughters were coming. Remember we learned that Light went out to the married daughters and they made a joke out of it and they just laughed it off. So Mrs. Light, Yiddish Shemama, she thought maybe the married daughters would come follow me. But that's why she turned around. The problem is that she was told not to turn around. And therefore, she was punished. She became a pillar of salt. Now, and that, see, Barbanel learns, the old question is, what does the word mean, acharav? So, the first opinion says, Ramban, quoting Pirkei Rabbi Lazar, she looked behind Light. Light was the last one behind, and she went to look at him. Another opinion says, but Barbanel says, she what? Batabit Ishtay Me'achurav, who was walking behind Light, she turned around. So there's 2 opinions basically who walked behind. One opinion is Light walked behind, and the other one says his wife did. Now, why was she punished into salt? Because she screamed at Light for giving even some salt. Remember we learned they ran out of salt, and she told Light, she screamed at her husband, why are you doing this terrible tradition? Other interpretations say, and this is all part of what's coming up, other Mepharshim learn as follows. If Mrs. Light remained alive, if Light's wife remained alive, then the story with Light and his 2 daughters would have never happened. If the story of Light and his 2 daughters would have never happened, because he had a wife, Mrs. Light. So therefore, the whole birth of Moshiach and David HaMelech and that whole thing would have never happened. So Hashem made that she should die in order for Light to be able to be with his daughters and create Moshiach. But
so from this story, can we assume that before this whole thing about Sodom, that people were actually more mental, that they were having like gas and they were being nice to people?
they weren't. They never did from day one.
No, because if we see that they weren't so nice, does that mean that people were nice before then, or it means that? You know what I'm saying? Or
No, it means
worse and worse and worse.
it gets worse and worse and worse. That even Light, who was a tzaddik, was also pretty bad. He was this tzaddik of Zdaim, and he also wasn't too good. And his wife was even worse.
But did the world get better?
No, the guy kept getting worse.
Did it ever
That's
get
what it
better?
says. Avram, what did Hashem tell Avram? The cry of Zdaim. The bottom line was what they did to that girl who had hospitality, put honey all over, and the bees killed her. That's not exactly good.
But did the world get better after that?
Did the world at large get better? Probably, maybe.
There were less wicked people.
Well, there was 5 cities of less wicked people.
What?
They were full of wicked
Less wicked people. The city of Zem was killed. So it's,
Oh, I see. But
now there's 2 opinions what Light's wife's name was, by the way. Some say the wife's name was Idis, and some say it was Iris. 2 opinions. But the name for Light's wife does say in Chumash. I'm not in the Chumash, in the Mephoshim. Edis or Edis, that was the name of Lot's wife. And why did she turn around, pick it up, as it says? Because she was looking to see if the daughters came. And she became Mamish Vatin Etziv Melech. See, according to the Psad Yagoin, they bring down here from the Psad Yagoin, what does it mean, Vatihi Netziv Melech? Doesn't only mean Light's wife. What? It rained from heaven fire and sulfur. So basically, Vatihi Netziv Melech, she became salt. But so did the whole land become salt from the fire and sulfur of what happened. And that caused it to be completely destroyed. Okay, see, the way the Psad Yagoin learns is a little bit different. When Light's wife turned around, what did she see? She saw the whole thing was a column of salt. That means not necessarily she turned into salt, which is the simple meaning of most commentaries. But he writes, Light's wife gave, and below the earth had become a column of salt. But not that she became salt. But again, the accepted opinion most places is that she actually turned into salt.
But she did die.
She died, yeah.
Maybe she didn't turn into
In
salt.
fact, they say that Josephus was called, actually writes in his book that he saw that pillar of salt. So it was existence for a very, very long time. In fact, there's a Mishnah, if one sees the pillar of salt of Light's wife, he should make a bracha of thanksgiving to Hashem. So the Gemara asks, what do you mean thanksgiving? You should say Baruch Dayanemes, because people were killed. What are you saying this? So the Gemara says, and the Gemara answers like this. Okay, for Light and his wife, 2 blessings are said. For the wife we say Baruch Dayanemes. And for Light who was saved, we say Baruch Zecher Tzaddik. The one that remembers the tzaddik. So it's a bracha for good that Light was saved, and bracha for bad that his wife was killed. And then the Gemara, this is all Gemara and bracha, Snun Dalit. But Rabbi Yechon in the Gemara says that even when Hashem's angry, he still remembers the tzaddikim. And therefore Light was saved. What?
No, just like that, to turn into the salt monument.
You want to know if it was a miracle or not? Yeah, it was. What do you want it to say?
No, it's like, what was, Hashem went out of his blade, so to speak, to turn it into a salt monument.
He quotes here, Pirkei Rabbi Yosef said like this. She beheld the Shechina, when Light's wife turned around, who was destroying the city? The Shechina, Hashem. So she became a pillar of salt, which still stands at the time of the Medrash. Oxen lick it every day, the salt, until it dwindles to the toes of her feet, and by the morning, it rolls up again. So it's continuous.
I think in Israel they say this is where it was when you pass by.
I mean, there is a city of Sodom. No, I don't know if it's an inhabited city or not. I don't know.
It's a sign.
Okay, Vayashkem Avram Babeike, Pasuk of Zayin. Vayashkem Avram Babeike, Avram got up early in the morning, Alamalkim to the place, Asher Amet Shamis Pnei Hashem, where he stood next to Hashem. This was the same place where Avram Avinu davened, when he was davening for his day. So he came back, to daven in the same place. Now, the Gemara learns a lot of things from this, a lot of dinim from this pasuk. Number one, why didn't Avram go out at night? Because the commotion happened to see at night, by dawn. But why didn't he get up earlier? So it says from here the Gemara learns out in Chulin, Talmid Chacham is not allowed to go out alone at night. So therefore Avram Avinu didn't want to go out alone at night because you're not allowed to. Number one. Another opinion is Avram Avinu, on that they asked, Avram Avinu could have taken servants with him or whatever. So therefore, he did not want others to witness the destruction of Sdom. So therefore, he wanted to go himself. He couldn't go at night because the Talmid Chacham can't go out at night. So therefore, he waited until the morning. But this is another opinion over there that says like this. Avram instituted Shachris. Yitzchak instituted Mincha, and Yaakov instituted Maariv. How do we know Avram instituted Shachris? Because it says, Vayashkim Avram b'Beiker. Avram got up early in the morning. So, because Vayashkim Avram b'Beiker, in fact, here, Brachas Gemara is Avram Medbeis, this is part of your Avram instituted the morning davening. Okay, now, Yitzchak made mincha because it said Vayita Yitzchak l'suach basada, to talk in the field and sicha those tefillah. Yaakov instituted Maariv. We learned in the past, it's even alluded to in their names. The second letter of Avram is a base, which is boker. Second letter of Yitzchak is a tzaddik, which means saharayim, afternoon. Second letter of Yaakov is an ayin, which means arvis. But from here we learn out another halacha. Where did Avram go? Vayashkim Avram b'Beiker. He got up to daven, yeah? Where did he go? To the same place he would daven the first time. From here you see you need to have a set place, a mokum kavu as it's called. You need to have a set place to daven. We learn out from Avram Avinu, the Gemara says. Okay,
Sorry,
what?
Is that why we sit on our own seat for benching?
I'm sorry, where we sit?
Yeah, like on a table when you make bracha and then you want to bench, you have to sit.
Well, that's another thing. It's disrespectful to daven walking around. You're supposed to sit. You can concentrate better. And no, a person should have a mokum kavua, not because God can't find you otherwise. Because when a person has a set place, people are creatures of habit. So when you have the same place, you're used to it. They use a new place, you're going to start looking around, new place, what's going on, And this is, that's the reason for the halacha. Said that's what the Gemara Taka says in Brachas. From this thing we learn out that you need to have a set place, because the Torah is, why does the Torah have to say that he got up to the same place he davened before? He got up and he saw what happened. So the Torah is teaching us halacha that you have to get daven in the same place. And he gazed upon the city of Sdom and Amora, and the Rashbam says, why did he look? He wanted to see if any tzaddikim were there that were saved. He was looking to see, maybe. But Hashkafa, it says when we knew Vayashkef, except when it says Hashkifa, Mamain Koshchem and Shemaim. The Gemara says all Vayashkefs, whenever it says in Chumash, Vayashkev is negative. Except in Parshas Kisova, by Bikurim, it says we tell Hashem, Hashkifa, Mamain Koshchem, look down from your heavenly abode. That's why Balkari reads that pasuk louder. It said because that is a good pasuk versus all the other Vayashkev. Over here, the Mefarshim explain, Avram was anguished that Sdom and Amora died, were destroyed. It bothered him. He was a man of, and he said like this. Kika looked at all the plain. Vayavine ola kita ha'ares kikita rafshin. Behold, the smoke came up from earth like the smoke of a kiln, like the smoke of an oven. Meaning it was so powerful that that's what happens. Okay. So now, as the Ran explains over here, that now the Torah many times says an episode and then the Torah summarizes it. This is the next pasuk, is summary of the whole story that happened. It was when Hashem destroyed all the cities of the plain. And Hashem remembered Avram. he sent out light from the destruction. When he destroyed the cities that light lived in. So the Mefarshim all ask, how does Avram get here? I mean, Hashem didn't remember Avram, Hashem remembered light. So the Mefarshim explain like this. Rashi says like this. What do you mean he remembered Avram? What merit did light have on his own to be saved? So Rashi says, when Avram Avinu went down to Egypt the first time, and he said to Sarah, say you're my sister, not my husband, not my wife, you're my sister, right? Light was with them, and he kept quiet. A few times, like Rashi says, Hashem rewarded him for doing that. Okay? Yeah, okay, that's what Rashi says. Even though, by the way, light didn't mean it l'shma. Why did light go with Avram? He expected to be Avram's, he didn't have Yitzchak yet, right? So light thought, I'm going to inherit him, I'm the closest relative. So let me see all the money he's making, Mitzrayim, and then Avimelech Melech Plishtim later at the end of the Parsha. He didn't go for, it's like Og wanted to save, Og wanted to save, he came to Avram to save light, and he wanted Avram to die and then he'd marry Sarah. That's what, but nevertheless the action was good. Even though his intent was bad, but Hashem looks at the action, not only at the intent. Except by Avodah Zarah. Another thing, why did light, in other words, like this, when Avram Avinu went all the way at the beginning, he left Terach, okay, they all lived in Haran. Terach, Light, Avram, they all lived in Haran. When Avram left, Hashem told Avram, go. I'm not even telling you where, just go. So Avram went with Jewish faith, Jewish Emunah. Light decided to go with Avram. If Light didn't go with Avram, he would still be in Haran. He wouldn't be in Zdaim. Why did Light end up in Zdaim? Because they were fighting the shepherds of Light and the shepherds of Avram were fighting. So Avram said, listen, we can't live here together anymore. Let's split. If you go right, I go left, you go left, I go right. What did Light pick? Zdaim. Because it was a fertile land. So what caused Light to live in Zdaim? Basically Avram Avinu. He left with him. Avram Avinu made him separate. So therefore the pasuk says, that's how the Ramban explains it. Rashi says because he kept quiet when he went down to Mitzrayim. The Ramban says another merit that Light had more connected to Avram, because the fact that Light was in Zdaim was because of Avram. Okay, now it says, by the way, Vayizker Elokim es Avram. It's all mixed up over here. Hashem is destroying Zdaim. He uses the word Yud Kei Vav Kei, Vahashem Imtir, when it should be Elokim. He's saving Light, so he's using the name Elokim. Mixed up. So this is exactly what we said before. The Gemara says, Medrash says, that Rishoyim, wicked people, cause the mercy of Hashem to turn into punishment, and the tzaddikim turn Elokim, punishment, into mercy. So when we're just talking about destroying Zdaim, so even Hashem destroyed. We're talking about saving Light in the merit of Avraham. That is transformation of the Elokim to the attribute of mercy. Okay, late was take mitecha hafecha. Another thing the Mefarshim say. Why does it emphasize over here that Hashem saved light from the middle of the turning over? Well, who cares? Because it's a greater miracle. If Hashem would have saved light before the destruction of Zdaim, people would say, okay, he had a good call. He got out in good time. So it wasn't that he was saved because he was a righteous man. He moved out. But over here we're saying, the pasuk is saying Hashem did it from the middle of the wreckage. And that's a greater miracle that Hashem saved them from all this. Okay, then it says about Saharim when he turned over the cities. Asher Yashabam Leit, even though Leit only lived in one city, but he was buried, in those cities. He was one of those guys in the cities. Okay. Vayal now starts a lot of weird, miraculous, totally incomprehensible things. And this is the story of Leit and his two daughters. Vayal Leit Mitzayar. So Leit went up so again, the Malach told him to go to Tzayir, he was saved in Tzayir. But he didn't stay there. He didn't want to stay in Tzayir. So we learned at the beginning today, because Tzayir wasn't destroyed, but everybody died. So there were corpses all over the place. Leit didn't want to live in a city full of corpses. So Leit went up, Mitzayar, Vayesh Bahad, and he went to dwell in the mountain. By the way, the Malachim, where did they tell Leit to run to? Run to the mountains. Leit said, it's too far, let me go to Tzayar. But now, Leit wasn't rushed anymore. See, now he went to the mountains. Ushtei v'neisav imay, his two daughters were with him. Ki yarei l'shavis b'Tzayar, he was afraid to live in the city of Tzayar. Why? Because, like we said, number one is near Sodom, so he was afraid he was going to get destroyed. Next is because he saw corpses all over the place. Okay. Okay. Ushtei b'nei Savim. He lived in a cave. He settled in a cave, and his two daughters with him. Now, some people say it's the cave of Adullam. Don't ask where that is, but it's the cave of Adullam. That's what they say. Why didn't he go to Avram Avinu? So the Al-Sheikh says, because he would be embarrassed. Leit would be embarrassed to go to Avram, because he was no good. So he was embarrassed to go to Avram. Okay, so now it says like this. So the older daughter, I'm going to learn a few psukim, and then we're going to discuss this whole thing. There's a lot really to talk about here. The older daughter said to the younger daughter, listen, Avinu Zaki, our father is old already. And there's no man left to marry us. Now, the Rashi said they thought everybody was destroyed. Maybe Avram was still alive, but Avram was too old also. So they didn't think they're going to be able to have kids from Avram Avinu. Okay? Let's get our father drunk, and we'll live with him. And we'll give birth from our father, we'll have children. I'm going to read a few psukim, and then now, where did they get wine from? See, here Rashi says a miracle happened, and Hashem put wine in the cave that they should get drunk. That Lot should get drunk. The Ramban says, no, why do you make miracles for no reason? The Ramban says people stored wines in caves because it's cool. You want to store wine? This is what the Ramban says in Pshat. He said, this is the simple meaning. Where did they get wine? The Torah doesn't say that. Obviously, they didn't bring wine with them. So now the question is, where did they get wine? So Rashi says, a miracle happened that wine got to them. I mean, Hashem put wine there. The Ramban says, no miracle. People stored wine in the caves, it was cool, and they found wine. And that was it. No miracles. So it says like this. They got him drunk. Again, we're going to explain everything soon. The older one came and lived with her father. He didn't know Light was so drunk. He was unaware of her being with him and without after it. Okay, the next day, the older one said to the younger one, yes, last night I lived with our father. Let's get wine, get him drunk tonight. And the story is they got him drunk, and again, she lived with him. Like, there's obviously something very deep over here. Why did Hashem make a miracle to have wine in the cave? Because again, why did Hashem make Mrs. Light die? Because otherwise, Light wouldn't be with his two daughters. If Light's wife was still alive, he would be with her. Then it wouldn't be the story, the two daughters wouldn't exist. From these two daughters comes Amin and Mayav, which is basically, Mayav is Rus, Amin is Nama, which was the wife of Shlomo Melech, who created Moshiach. So these are the two people that, because the Rambam writes, Mashiach's coming from David and Shlomo. Rambam, when he speaks about Mashiach, says Mashiach is the descendant of David and Shlomo. It doesn't say just David. It has to be David and Shlomo. It has to be both. Okay? So Nama was the wife of Shlomo who gave birth to Rechavam, who was eventually the beginning of bearer of eventually Mashiach. Now, how is it possible? We mentioned this, 2 weeks ago, last week. How is it possible that such a great person as David HaMelech and Moshiach should come from such incest of a father and his two daughters? How could it be? We mentioned last week also, or 2 weeks, I don't remember when it was. How can Moshe Rabbeinu come from his aunt? Amram married his aunt, which is biblically incest after Matan Torah, not before. But nevertheless, Amram was allowed to marry Yocheved before the Torah was given. And therefore, by Matan Torah we learned, Amram and Yocheved divorced. They weren't allowed to stay married because it was an aunt with a nephew was not allowed to get married. So, okay, it was not illegitimate like Light and his two daughters. But how can Moshe Rabbeinu come from a union of which is something which is essentially forbidden? After Matan Torah, it's essentially forbidden. And yet Moshe Rabbeinu comes from such a union. So we need to, as they say in America, go to Chassidus 101. Okay? There are things in the world which are permissible, and there are things in the world which are forbidden. Permissible things are called mutar, permissible. Forbidden things are called asur, bound. Forbidden. In a deeper sense, we say every day in davening matir asurim, he unties the tide. Mutar means untied. Asur means bound. A prisoner is called asur. Beis asurim is in prison. Because years ago they tied him in the prison. It wasn't like today. They tied you were tied mamish to the walls. That's it. So in Kabbalah Chassidus says like this. Everything in the world, everything that exists in the world originates from God. Which means there is a power of God in every single thing that exists in the world. There's a power of Hashem in everything. But there's two types of things in the world. Permissible things and forbidden things. That means like this. According to Kabbalah and Chassidus, an apple an apple, see, in Zohar and Chassidus and Kabbalah, it's either like this. It's either holy or evil. There's no in between. It's either Kedusha or Ra. It's either Tov or Ra. Good is Kedusha, Ra is anything not Kedusha. It's not a Webster dictionary definition of bad. Anything which is not openly holy is evil in Chassidic language, which means this table is evil, the chair is evil, the floor is evil, the building is evil, everything's evil. But the godliness, the spark of God that keeps it existing, the Kedusha that's in it, everything comes from Hashem, is not bound to the evil. That means it's loose. So therefore, a person is able to select the good from the bad and elevate it to Kedusha. So again, an apple is not Kedusha, but it's kosher. Therefore, the godliness that's in the apple is not bound to evil. It's what's called mutar, untied. Therefore, if a Jew takes the apple, makes a bracha, eats it for the right purposes, they elevate the Kedusha that was in the apple, and he elevated it to Kedusha. Okay? The evil went away, and now the good goes up to Kedusha. Something which is forbidden, asur, means, like a pig, let's say, a pig is forbidden, which means, now obviously a pig has to exist from God. There has to be godliness in it, if not it wouldn't exist. But the godliness that's in the pig is bound to the evil. And therefore, if it's bound to the evil, you could take a chazer, you could make a brach on it, you could eat it l'shem shemayim, to serve God. Not only that, you can go and serve God with the energy that you had from eating the pig. And Chassidus and Kabbalah explain, the evil remains evil. You didn't elevate it at all. The Kedusha there didn't go anywhere. It's still bound to the evil. Until Moshiach comes, when Ruach HaTuma Avim min ha'aretz, when evil will be removed from the world, then Chazir will be kosher. That's why it's called Chazir. The Medrash says, because Lahachzir is going to return to be kosher. The Medrash says that's why it's called Chazir. But it means, until then, or there's another example which is very, very rare about tshuva. What the Gemara says, that's such a level of tshuva that the Avedas become mitzvahs. That's similar to the concept of Moshiach. Then evil can become good. But otherwise, evil cannot become good. Evil stays evil. And therefore, it's asur. But in other words, why is it forbidden? Because we cannot elevate it. Something we can elevate is permissible, because we could elevate it. Which means the Kedusha is not so bound to the evil, unlike forbidden things where the Kedusha is totally bound to the evil. So therefore, everything the Torah forbids is because we cannot elevate it. And if the purpose of a Jew in the world is to make the world holy, to make a mishkan, for Hashem, within us, if we can't elevate it, the Torah says it's forbidden. That is the normal routine of life of a Jew. We can elevate it, it's permissible. We can't, it's forbidden. And that's how the Tzemach Tzedek explains the many things that were biblically permissible, like meat, milk and chicken. Like Minatayr, you can have milk and chicken. The Chachamim came along and said, no, it's forbidden. Or all the other things Chachamim forbade that really essentially was permissible. So Tzemach Tzedek, what happened? Because of what's called in Hebrew Yeridas Adeiros, the generations are not like they used to be. The earlier generations were able to elevate it, and therefore for them was permissible. Certain things the generations later on would not be able to elevate because they're not on this lofty level. Therefore the Chachamim with the power of Torah says you can't eat it. Meaning now you can't elevate it anymore. Earlier generations could, later generations can't. We find a similar thing, by the way. The Gemara says this. There's no Maida Ani in the Gemara, by the way. Maida Ani Lefanecha that we say in the morning is not in the Gemara. And the Gemara says like this. When the Jew woke up in the morning, before Nagel Vaser, what did he say? Elokai neshama shenasata bi tahiri yada baruch atah Hashem hamachzir neshamas of God amazing. When the people were holier, their sleep was holier, they were able to say a bracha even before washing their hands to get rid of the impurity. Then it says the generations went down. So now we're not allowed to say any kedusha before washing Nagel Vaser. So therefore, why do we say Maida Ani? Because there's no mention of God in it. Okay, Chassidus explains there's no mention of God because it's greater than God, and therefore the essence of the Jew, the Pintaliyid, the Maida Ani, the Pintali can never become Tomei. Okay, but from a halachic point of view, earlier generations were able to do something that we can't. Similarly, the Gemara says, in the time of the first Beis Hamikdash, when the Yidden said Shema, he said, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad v'Yohavtas Hashem Elokecha. They didn't say Baruch Shem Kved Malchus Le'Elvad. Now, later generations, we're not on that level to go straight from the pasuk Shema to v'Yohavtas, so we, in other words, because we became lower. Certain things, but one more thing. Another thing which has to be understood, a fundamental aspect, the higher the thing, the lower it falls. You can learn many times, the expression in Chazal, Kol HaGavoya B'Yeser, the higher the thing, the lower it falls. So if this is a wall, and the wall falls down, the top part of the wall falls further away from the original place of the wall. The higher the thing, the further it falls. Okay, which in Kedusha means the sparks of evil, the Kedusha that's in evil, originate in a super high place, and therefore they fell super low, and because they fell super low, we cannot elevate it. We don't have the ability to elevate it. But in essence, the sparks that fell lower come from a greater source of godliness. Therefore, by hook or by crook, forbidden relations is because we can't elevate that unity of man and woman in incest or HSC, whatever it is. We cannot elevate that forbidden unity. That forbidden intimacy we cannot elevate. And therefore the Torah says it's forbidden. You can't do it. Super great neshamas, Moshiach, David HaMelech, Shlomo HaMelech, they have to come, they can't come from the normal level of Kedusha. The normal level of Kedusha is not great enough for their greatness, what they need to accomplish. So therefore, by hook or by crook, Hashem makes it happen through forbidden channels. Because in essence, and it's all from Hashem, this whole story is from Hashem. Light's wife died, Hashem got wine, that they should get drunk. Obviously Hashem wanted it to happen. If he didn't want it to happen, it wouldn't have happened. No wine, no drunk, no nothing, whatever. Hashem wanted this to happen. Why? Because the sparks of Kedusha that are in the incestuous relationship between light and his daughters come from a super high level, which is so great that we cannot do it on a normal basis. But super things, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshiach, David HaMelech, they have to come from that level of Kedusha. They can't come down from a normal level of Kedusha. They have to come down from such a great level of Kedusha that when it comes down, it falls into super low. What?
Can we say Hashem really doesn't hate or despise forbidden things?
Yeah, he hates it because what he means he hates is he doesn't want us to do it because our purpose is to elevate the world. If we can't elevate it, we can't do it. So Hashem hates us to do it because we're not supposed to be doing it because we can't accomplish.
The outcome is something good, like
It's not. In these cases, listen, not every guy that does incest creates David HaMelech with Mashiach. Instead, it's the opposite way. Moshiach has to come, and David HaMelech has to come, and Moshe Rabbeinu has to come from a super powerful level of
why
Kedusha.
then permission is given to non-Jews to eat forbidden food?
Because their avoid is not to elevate the world. The Goyim don't elevate the food to a level of Kedusha. A Jew takes the food, makes it bracha, he makes it holy, like a korban. Like a korban. God, that's not their role. The Goyim's role is to, which is a very basic, massive, difficult role. In order to function in a business, you can't function in a jungle. It has to be civilized, and then you can come run the business. In order for a Jew to come into the world, we're the chosen people. We were chosen to come into the world, to elevate the world, to make the world a dwelling place for God. It cannot function in a jungle. The role of Goyim is to make the world civilized. All the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, no cruelty to animals, setting up a court system, no idolatry, adultery, murder, no stealing. All the 7 Mitzvahs B'nai Noach are civilized things to civilize the world. Then a Jew can come in and do the mitzvahs and elevate the world to Kedusha. There is a different mission. The head has its mission, the heart has its mission. Both are very important. It's a different mission. Our mission is to elevate the world by making it holy, by making a bracha, eating it to the right purpose, or not only to learn on the table, we make the table holy. We make the table holy.
So when a non-Jew eats, is it just because he needs the energy?
Because he needs to live to be able to civilize the world. But he does not make the world holy. That's not what's called Aveda Sabirurim. The Aveda of a Jew is to refine the world. What are we selecting? You know, by Shabbos, the Malacha Berder means to select. So over there means select bad from good. Our Aveda is to select the good from the bad. By taking out the spark of Kedusha that's in this object, physical object that Torah allows us to use, and elevate it to Kedusha. But what's more fabulous is certain things are forbidden to eat, but you can benefit from. Certain things are forbidden to eat or benefit from. L'marshal, classic example, a football is called a pigskin because it's made from pigskin, right? Now a pig you can't eat, but you're allowed to benefit from a pig. You can have a pigskin belt and pigskin shoes and pigskin whatever you want. You can have a football, right? A pig is only forbidden to eat, not to benefit. Meat and milk cooked together is not only forbidden to eat, it's forbidden to benefit from. Certain things, our law, I mean, there's certain chametz and pesach. That means the evil controls every aspect of the kedusha. You can't even benefit from it, let alone eat it. You can't even benefit from it. That's how bound it is to evil. And here we have an example that something which is so super low, because it originates in a very high place, that has to happen for things to happen. Now me and you can't say, okay, I'm going to do incest, I'm going to create a David HaMelech. If Light or his daughters would go to a Rav and ask a Shaila, can we get our father drunk? And obviously the answer is no. But why did Hashem, the question is not why it happened. The question, why is Hashem making Moshiach come out from this? David HaMelech to come out from this. Moshe Rabbeinu to come out from this. Because it's too holy to come from a normal level of Kedusha.